25. Dear Kiddo, take my hand into darkness. Mom performs a bizarre exorcism. Kiddo, there's an old saying, every family has its quirks. But when it comes to your mother, calling her quirky is like calling Mount Everest a hill. This woman is a category unto herself. The glow-in-the-dark Ouija board incident? That was the day I realized we weren't just paddling in the shallow end of Crazytown. We'd set sail on a cruise to the dark depths of Absolutely Bonkers Bay. It all started innocently enough. I was wandering through a novelty shop when I stumbled upon a glow-in-the-dark Ouija board. You know the kind, cheap plastic, cheesy font, probably designed for kids' sleepovers. It was a joke, a goof, something I'd stick in the basement, forget about, and maybe drag out for a laugh when the occasion arose. The occasion arose a couple of weeks later when your sister decided she had to use the Ouija board. Fine, I thought. Harmless fun. I went to the basement, grabbed it, and plunked it down on my coffee table. Nothing sinister, nothing weird. Just a dumb board game with a glow-in-the-dark gimmick. Enter Mom. She showed up early, classic mom move, and immediately zeroed in on the Ouija board like a heat-seeking missile. Her face went pale, her eyes wide with panic. "Why do you have that in the house?" she demanded, pointing at the board like it was a live grenade. "It's a joke, Mom," I said. "It's glow-in-the-dark. It's not like I'm summoning demons." But Mom was already spiraling. "Do you have a silver dagger?" she asked, dead serious. I blinked at her. Silver dagger? No, Mom, I don't have a silver dagger. Why would I have a silver dagger? She huffed, like I'd just admitted to failing basic adulthood. Well, you should. Every house should have one. For protection? From what? Salad? She ignored me and started rummaging through my kitchen drawers. A moment later, she triumphantly pulled out a butter knife. A silver butter knife. I watched in stunned silence as she examined it like a weapon expert in a crime procedural, nodding to herself as though she'd just solved a puzzle. "This will do," she said. "Do for what, exactly?" I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. And that's when things got weird. Mom stood in the middle of my living room, butter knife in hand, and started chanting. To this day, I have no idea what language she was speaking, if it was a language at all. It sounded like a mix between a Gregorian chant and someone trying to summon the customer service representative from hell. Then, she began stabbing the air in 4 different directions, muttering under her breath like she was negotiating a ceasefire with the spirit world. I just stood there, slack-jawed, watching her go full medieval exorcist on my living room. My brain was racing, trying to decide whether to stop her or just let this madness play out. The deciding factor? I wanted to see where this was going, because, Kiddo, when you're living in a sitcom, you don't interrupt the punchline. When she finished her ritual, which involved a particularly aggressive jab at the coffee table, she turned to me, looking incredibly self-satisfied. "There," she said, like she'd just saved the day. "You're safe now." "Safe from what?" I asked. She looked at me like I was the idiot. "From the spirits," she said. "You can't just mess with this stuff. It's serious." "Mom," I said slowly, "it's a glow-in-the-dark Ouija board. It's made of plastic. It probably came with a warning not to eat it." She shook her head, clearly unimpressed by my lack of spiritual awareness. "You don't understand. You're inviting them in. If you don't take precautions, they'll stay." "Mom," I said, "the only thing staying here is this butter knife in my silverware drawer." But she wasn't done. She sat me down, launched into a lecture about the dangers of opening doors to the supernatural, and threw in a few unsolicited parenting tips for good measure. By the time Aunt Titty and your sister arrived, Mom was deep into a monologue about ley lines, cursed objects, and why we should always carry a sachet of salt. Your sister, bless her, took one look at the Ouija board and said, "Cool. Can we use it now?" Mom gasped, clutching her chest like she'd been shot. "Absolutely not," she shrieked. "Do you want to get possessed? Is that what you want?" "I just want to ask it if Harry Styles is dating anyone," your sister replied. I thought that was reasonable, but Mom was having none of it. She grabbed the board, muttered something about reckless children, and marched it out to the trash can like it was radioactive waste. To this day, I don't know if she was more afraid of spirits or Harry Styles. Later that night, As I replayed the whole scene in my head, I had a moment of clarity. This woman, this butter knife-wielding, chanting, ghost-fighting woman, was completely out of her friggin' mind. But here's the kicker, kiddo. I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. It takes a special kind of person to turn a novelty board game into an exorcism. And that, my dear, is your mother. So, take my hand into darkness, kiddo. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the line between insanity and brilliance is razor thin. And sometimes it's holding a butter knife.